everybody. It's Romania Black, and my house is actually freezing right now, so I'm ready to warm up with some Bleach 1000-Year Blood War arc. I've got like a blanket in my lap. I am cold. My dogs are like at my feet, also a little bit chilly. But yeah, and I've got like reheated my coffee up from this morning. I am so excited because we are getting into the 1000-Year Blood War arc. We're on episodes 5 and 6. And last week, everybody was like, oh, it's fine. Ichigo will save us. And then Ichigo was like, what? As he was imprisoned in between dimensions by old Opie in a final act of allegiance to his precious leader. So that's where we're at. But before we get started with this episode, I do have a couple of comments from you all who have commented the last couple of weeks that I wanted to make note of because I thought they were important to bring out. So thank you so much for the comments. Thank you for the kind words. I hope you continue to like the videos, give comments, let me know what you think about Bleach, and we can talk about Bleach. The only thing we can't talk about is what gets changed or not changed. If it's anything involving this final arc, I want to find that out as I go. But if it's anything before this arc, we can talk shop about that all day. As I'm probably going to do in these videos. So I do want to make note, as I'm just checking, my dog is like trying to throw his toy down here. There we go. Ruben T. Armstrong for episodes 1 and 2 said, talking about getting the shaft, Chojuro Sasakibe, all we know from him is what Byakuya Kuchiki eulogizes about him. And I don't remember if he was just talking to Renji. He was in the manga. Oh, you mean, and okay, so first of all, the fact that all we get on Sasakibe is what Byakuya is telling Renji in the manga, and that's it. Kubo, legend. But then he says, oh, you mean Kensei Mugaruma. I'm like, wrong anime. I had to look up Kensei's last name because Higuruma sounded right, but also wrong at the same time. Yeah, look. It has been, in fact, 10 years since I've read the manga. I did read it for like 10 years, so a lot of stuff's ingrained into my brain. Kensei's one of the ones that I don't quite, he always had an amazing design, and I really liked his design, but he was always just kind of a brute in a lot of ways as a captain, and, you know, I was just kind of like, okay. He was never one of my favorites, like Shinji and Hiyori, mwah. But like, and Lisa was great. He just never was one of my, like, favorites, so his name I kind of, like, put to the wayside. But yes, thank you, Kensei Mugaruma. I will probably mix up some names as we go, but I'm glad you all are kind enough to be like, hey, do you mean this person? And I'm like, yes, of course. Centric4732 said the first 3 episodes of Core 4 will be in theaters. That's gonna be fun. That just tells me that when I start Core 4, I'm gonna need to watch the 3 episodes together. That's what it's telling me, right? That's what y'all are saying, right? Okay. I'm glad to know that. We'll have to plan that one out as we get to it. Be Happy said for episodes 1 and 2, the OSTs, Bleach is well known as perfection with its music. Bleach and Attack on Titan have the best OSTs of all time in my not so biased opinions. I will say that Bleach's soundtrack is, in my opinion, one of the best in all of anime. It's just the soundtrack, the songs, everything, the OPs, they're all so good. And I think that is attributed to the fact that Kubo is such a fan of music and he ties music so heavily into his work and his art. And I think that's really cool. I think that when somebody is very passionate about it, the quality shows. But Shiho Sagisu Sensei took back his role and is delivering some amazing pieces for 1000-Year Blood War. The Quincy faction theme with the imperialistic tone is perfect. I also like the fact that Shiho Sagisu came back after like decades to do the music, being like, well, why not? I'm so glad because his music is iconic for Bleach and it wouldn't feel like Bleach without those scores. Be Happy also says for episodes 3 and 4, Mayuri talking shit to Yamamoto, as you said, was anime only content and it was glorious. I love Yama, but he needed to hear that to snap out of it and have a reality check. Kudos to Mayuri for having the balls to be the one to do it and not fear turning into barbecue. To that I will say, Mayuri, if he did turn to barbecue, would be like, oh, what a lovely experiment. And Akon would go, here we go again. Akon would just have to like step up and be even more iconic in order to take care of the situation. But yeah, Mayuri would be the only one that would have the gall because he's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to make it an experiment if you do. So whatnot. And then finally they say Rangiku's true hair color from the manga is the one used here, not the one from the OG series, which wasn't very accurate. Yeah, I remember seeing a color spread. I think it was the beach one that Kubo did where they all have the volleyballs and there's like the watermelon volleyball. Y'all know the color spread I'm talking about. And I remember looking at Rangiku's hair and going, that's not quite like the anime. And so now they're clearing it up, and I'm like, good. It's good that we're getting the color grading where it is supposed to be. So thank you. But anyway, I appreciate everything y'all have been saying about the series. It's so fun to talk shop with people that love Bleach. It's so much fun. This is such a great piece of nostalgia. And if I'm correct, we're going to be getting into this volume today, volume 57. If you check my May update video out, special shout out and thanks to our moderator, Be Happy, who has hooked me up with enough manga to last me at least until the next course. So, good. But I'm super excited. But yeah, Yamamoto on the front. Byakuya on the front cover here, he looks so bloody, but then it's like a blue tone, like he's in a shadow. I'm assuming it's the shadow of Asnot. We'll find out. But anyway, thank you all so much. I am super excited. As per usual, I'm going to have the subtitles in this portion that you all can see on screen. There will be a link to the PIP without sound down below if you need to see a full visual. Hopefully that worked out last week with the subtitles being kind of blown up for that. But in any case, I'm excited. I hope you all are as well. We are going to be diving into episodes 5 and 6 of the 1,000-year Blood War on Bleach. And we're going to be doing that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do it to it. Okay. Woo! Okay. Yep. By the way, yeah. Well, oh, Rukia's like, hey! Yeah. Oh, Kenpachi! Akon's like, I'm gonna have to deal with this later. Oh! Oh shit. Well, disconnected. Not good, Captain. Oh my god. I love yes, little turning knob. Oh. Oh shit. I forgot about this. I forgot about this. Damn it. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's torture. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh, the drama. The drama. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, Rukia. Oh. Oh. Oh, Wrath as a lightning. Okay. Wrath as a lightning, you say. Ah. It's good to hear Rukia again. Mm-hmm. Ah, man. What a torturous thing. Kubo is so cruel. Being like, we're going to trap you in this pinball, and then we're going to make you listen to everybody screaming. Okay, the one guy with the eye... God, Gege took a lot of inspiration for this for JJK. Huh. I really like this OP a lot. The visuals are great. And then, yeah. Damn. Ah! Why does Uryu have to look so good? Kubo's like, I had all these extra characters in my head. Here we go. Oh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. So... Uh-huh. Ooh. The little twist, the little preview there at the end. Oh, uh-huh. It's Hushwalt is his name. Oh my god. I mean, Hushwalt is Hansel. The letter J. I forgot about the letters. The jail. I forgot about the letters. I forgot instead of numbers, they have letters. Poor little Nell. Oh. Huh. Oh. Oh. I forgot who this was. Shit. Okay. I love a good mystery. It's like one of those 90s toys. Oh. Byakuya is literally sacrificing himself so that Renji could possibly succeed. He could steal multiple. Oh. I don't like seeing Byakuya like this. No, not our sweet Byakuya. Ooh. Oh, that's such a good voice. I didn't expect it to be this deep. Fear? Yeah. I didn't expect his voice to be this deep. Cool. Mmm. Yeah, because he's shaking. Byakuya? Fear something? I mean, he did fear about Rukia's safety. Mmm. I really like the voice they chose for Asnot. Really cool. Ooh. Oh. Is his letter F? Mmm. Yeah. Ooh. Oh. There is no battle without fear. It's the fear of losing Rukia, though. That's the fear. Oh my god! Oh! Oh! Oh, shit! That is some Barefoot Gin level of horror. Oh. Oh. Ew. Ew. No. That's so gross. Ah. Eh. Eh. Ah. Oh. Oh my God. I forgot they could use it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Kubo, how dare you? Kubo, how dare you? Ah. Ah. Oh, Reggie! Reggie! Ah. Shit, I forgot about her too. Oh, yep, and there's the blute. Oh my God. Ah! Oh. Oh. Oh my God. No, no, no. Oh, 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 shit. Yes, I forgot about him. Yeah, I was like, he comes back in this. Damn it. Oh. Well, no. Oh. Don't you drop that sword, Byakuya. Shit. Oh. Oh my God. The Garganta. Yes. Damn. Genji Juku. Yeah, looking pretty grim up in here. Saritae's looking pretty grim. Hoshwalt's so hot right now. Hey, no big deal. Oh, 3. Oh my God. Lloyd! I just killed him. Trash. That'll do it. The question. He got on my nerves by talking a lot. Oh my God. And then Lloyd was okay. Ah! Makes sense with the Lloyd. That is some Toto logic right there. Yes. You're an idiotic monster. Hey, don't be judging Hushvault. don't fight effeminate men. I mean. Meanwhile, inside this, like, tumbler ball. Inside this wiffle ball of doom. Ugh. Yeah, that sucks. Also, if he's dead, how does this work? Shouldn't it disappear once he's dead, or is it going to stay? Ugh. Oh, these two! Glad they got out. No! Okay, this one. I remember him. Yep, Driscoll. I always loved his design. Oh. The overkill. So your dad's just like a juggernaut. Oh my god. I always loved he had the 69 on his face. Like, come on now. Oh, Sasakibe. Hmm. Oh! Oh my god. He's like, oh, you! You killed Sasakibe. You're mine. Oh! Oh, no, you bitch ain't! Oh! Although we do get to see Sasakibe's Bankai, which is pretty bitchin'. Yes! You will never convince me that Yamamoto and him did not have a thing! Other than Hyomaru that can control the weather. Well, it is... Oh. Oh, no, there was things going on. It's too perfect. Shut up, it's too perfect. I want a doujinshi of just them. I want a whole series. Do it. It's so crazy to see Yamamoto look that young and like muscled up. Oh. You know, be the peanut to your butter. Be the peanut butter to your chocolate chip. Can I be the Reese's to your peanut butter cup, please? Oh my god. Oh, I love. Oh. Fire and lightning! Ah! The lightning sparks the fire! He gave you a lover's scar. Ah! Jusai, Jujisai. Oh. Ginryusai. Oh my god! Like the willow. Bitch, you have no idea. You have no idea. Oh. Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god. Oh. Oh shit. If Unohana's paying attention, you know. He's a bit pissed. Hey, hey-oh. Don't call her Aho. Don't call her an idiot. The Wolverine claws. Uh-huh. Hell yeah! It's the power of Yowie, baby. Sorry, Light Yagami's dad. Yeah! Hell yeah! Ah! Okay, I want to get to the end. The fire. Ah, yeah! Wrath is lightning and the fire. Hell yeah. Okay. Bitch, that was so good. That was a great episode. I'm excited. Meanwhile, 1,000. Mmm. Ooh. Ooh. I like these little added Uryu things. The one underpass he's sitting under. Very JJK. Very JJK, actually. Interesting indeed. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. We're messing with the timeline as well, which is interesting. I really, really, really enjoy this OP. All the captains and vice captains. Was that Momo? She just grew her hair out. This was Shinji. Hmm. I'm still not over that shot of Uryu. It looks so good in the OP. And Uryu standing with all the Quincy there. Hmm. I had forgotten about the letters. We'll talk about the letters in this. They're kind of like the numbers of the Iran car. Obviously, there's more letters than the numbers used, so. Mm-hmm. Oh. That Shinohitsu guy is hilarious. Is this so out of context? Just on fire. I forget he had an arm gone, but he does. Damn, old man. That name, how to pronounce such things. Oh. Ooh. Oh my god, that voice. Mmm. Uh-huh. Oh my god. Well, that too. That'll do. Oh wow. It's a guy that's so funny out of context. Well. Mmm. Oh, damn. Ooh. Ooh. I want to call you Baba. Shigekune. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. 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 Wow. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's really good. Oh, I love. Just keep standing there doing nothing. Wow. And the blade of it. Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah, it's too dry. How cute of you to worry about your skin! Oh my god! She's like, there's more important problems. Oh my god. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Ha ha ha! Yeah, a little sword, yes. Yes, don't underestimate it. It's kind of like Ichigo's in a way. Oh. Mmm. Oh. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, is it gonna erupt into flame? Oh. 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 Oh, yeah. 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 Ah! Shit! I love how bright it is outside. Oh, just that. Just that. Oh. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, we didn't talk about the West. Yeah, about that, there is indeed. Oh my god. 15 million degrees Celsius, sure. Ah! Jesus. How are you still alive, Washwalt? He still looks hot as ever. Mmm. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh my god. Mmm. Oh. Mm. Hmm. Mm-mm. Oh. Well, you and Ichigo get along? Clearly. Ah. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. Mmm. Oh my god. Oh, he just sees an arrow. Yep. So he would use it. Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh my god, this looks so good. Oh. By God's light. Yamamoto's like, I'm Buddhist, bitch. I was waiting for this. Like the fudge! Yes! The South, the North and the South. Ah! Oh, just the sounds of the bones. Oh my god. That big ass name. This is some masochistic craziness. Hmm. What's North, though? I forget about North. I was waiting for South. Oh my god. This is some messed up stuff. The fact that he remembers their names. He probably couldn't. Yes. Hmm. So you couldn't steal all of it. Ooh. Bitch, you don't know me? Oh, wow. Oh, that comparison. Oh. Oh, wow. Oh. 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 Mainly Sasakime! Oh! Ooh, ooh, the harp, the harp! Get that harp! Damn. Meanwhile, Hashwald's been standing there the whole time like, so, wow. I would chop off the head. Why would you not finish it off? Have we learned anything? Did Mayuri just yell at you? Granted, he got cut in half, but y'all know these Quincy are pretty tough. Lop his head off. Oof. Ah. Royd Lloyd! Not Royd Lloyd! Oh. Oh, bitch! Oh, bitch! Oh, bitch! Are we getting this now? Ah! This feels very Evangelion. This is very Evangelion. Actually. Okay, so Ichigo and Aizen. Aizen's not one to really. Oh, bitch, I don't follow you. Ah! Yeah! This is so Evangelion! Ah. Oh. Hmm. Just leave me with my chair. It's not really a chair, though. He's like on a slab. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! That was... Uh... 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 Oh my god. You wouldn't use Sasakime against him! Oh my god. Ah! It looks so good! Oh. That was so freaking good! Damn! Damn! All right! Let's go, Bleach! Let's go! Damn! They actually went, I think they went more than what this one volume had for once. So we're gonna touch base into that. But man! I mean, the Evangelion reference, I didn't pick up on it last time because I hadn't watched Neon Genesis. So now I'm like, oh, it could not be more obvious. Hell yeah. I really like the CD too. Man, halfway through the season almost, and whoo! Whoo! It's a bold move to kill off Yamamoto in the first act of this 4-part arc. And not even halfway through the first act to kill Yamamoto off. Like, to take away, like, your failsafe is crazy. Byakuya. Born in the Dark. Ooh, okay. Come on, let's go, Bleach. Oh my gosh. Oh man! Ah! That'll heat you up. That'll heat you up. That'll warm you up on a that'll warm you up on a cold day, won't it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what? Studio Pro is not messing around. They were like, we have some amazing material that we need to adapt. And we actually got through this whole thing and like the first opening chapter of this volume. So we got a little bit into it. We're going to talk about it, but yeah. Oh my gosh. That was, Yamamoto's Bankai is one of those things that when I heard they were going to adapt the final arc into the anime, I thought that's one of the things I want to see because his Bankai is just over the top to the extreme, but he's the squad 1 captain. It's like he's the most powerful captain. So of course he has to be. And honestly, considering how long this arc is, I talked a little bit about it at the end of the ED of episode 6. We're only halfway through part 1 of 4 of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. We're only halfway through part 1 of 4. We are literally like, what, an eighth of the way through? And you've already killed off, like, the trump card of the Sarate, which is Yamamoto. I mean, Ichigo's there. We know Ichigo. That's the thing, too. There's Ichigo, there's Urahara, Aizen. We're going to talk about Aizen. Oh, my God. But, your last-ditch effort, the one that you never wanted to have to face, is dead. Gone. Done. Now what? And Yuvok, he called him Yuhabaha, Yubaba. I did a little bit of reading before I came on here to discuss this, and apparently the Japanese directors told the English dub actors told the dub actors to say it in Japanese, so that however the Japanese voice actors say it, the English dub director told them to keep it the same so the lip flap movements would match. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But it's Yuvok. It's Yuvok. I looked it up. It's German. It's Yuvok. I'm going to call him Yuvok because that, to me, that's how I always said it in the manga. I'm like, is it Yuvok? Is it Yuvok? Am I saying this right? I think it's Yuvok. To me, that's easier for me to say than Yuhabababa. Then I'm going to get it wrong and it's going to annoy people. So Yuvok is what we're going to say. But yeah, this volume was adapted very well. Very well. This is probably my favorite adaptation so far of them. Also, I like that Kubo's opening. He's like, I've never thought I'd be able to drink tomato juice, but I'm enjoying it a lot. It just reminds me to never use the word never. Tomatoes are delicious. He sounds so old in that, but this was also like, 15 years ago? When did this volume come out? This volume came out originally, oh God, in 2001? Surely not. No, 2013. The series started in 2001. So 2013. Yep. Okay. That's been 12 years ago. We're not going to think about that. So yeah, I'm trying to think of anything that was cut out of volume 57. It's pretty, the end credits with the little title card is actually from volume 57 with Byakuya, which makes more sense. They didn't put it at the end. They previewed episode 6 with Yamamoto's and left Byakuya's for the end of episode 6, which is fine. The only thing that really has been cut out is like maybe one little instant of, okay, yeah, the messenger was shot by the guy facing Shunsui. That's like literally maybe the one thing that was cut off. But then everything else is pretty much all beat for beat the way that it is in the actual manga, which is a great adaptation. We're going to talk about the adaptation, and I want to pull up some screenshots to kind of compare with this here in 3, 2, 1. I want to pull this alongside the scene where Ichigo is... Akon's out here just doing the Lord's work. So when... I do think it's interesting. They adapted it as they did the cell phone. Like when Ichigo looks on the cell phone, it's like the call with Urahara gets disconnected and he's still with the Sarate. When they're all like shouting out for help here, one thing that I think they could have done, I mean, it would have been difficult to animate it, but it's really effective in the manga. Because Ichigo has always been our hero. He is the go-to guy. Like, Ichigo's gonna save the day. He's the protagonist. We're 500 chapters in as of this volume. 500 chapters into Bleach. He's the go-to guy. And to see this one page where it's just literally all these voices screaming for help and Ichigo is trapped in this little, like, wiffle ball, unable to do anything, that sucks. Sucks to be Ichigo right now. And we've seen Ichigo powerless a few times, but the times that we've really seen Ichigo powerless, he himself is in danger, but there's always like this, oh, well, but they'll be okay. It's mainly Ichigo in danger and he's trying to save himself. Here, he's being counted upon. Like, he finally has reached a point. The added scene that they added with Uryu, which we'll talk about, that kind of hints at the idea that Ichigo has become this, he's become this reliable person, and against all odds, the Soul Reapers have finally come to accept him, and now that they've accepted him and come to rely upon him, he can't help. So it's like, of all times for that to happen, right? So anyway, we can't blame Ichigo for being, down in the dumps. I had forgot about the letters. The letters with the Sternrittern. The letters. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. The Sternritters have at least 27. I mean, Lloyd and Royd are kind of the same, one and the same. They're both the Y. But, God, I forgot about Royd. We're going to talk about them. So yeah, we're going to talk about all of this because I felt like the Celine Dion song was playing. It was all starting to come back. And then there were some things I'm like, I don't remember that. we'll get into it. But yeah, so all of the Sternrittern, like all the Arrancar had numbers from like 10 on up for Eisen's top 10. They get letters, and those letters apply a power or a special purpose that they have from Yuvok to help do something for the cause. And Opie's is he is J, the jail. His whole purpose is to create a jail, aka the wiffle ball that we see, that is supposed to trap Ichigo. As it seems, it appears as if Ichigo is trapped inside the wiffle ball even after old Opie dies. So that's a problem. Let's get past this OP. That's a problem indeed. And I like that we have, like, okay, so on the call, Urahara is disconnected, but the Department of Research is connected. And it's circuit number 4. Number 4 is like the Japanese number for death. I was like, that's fun. That's a good time. So yeah, Ichigo is just not having a great day. Ichigo having to struggle in all this is oof. So then we go to where we adapt chapter 501, which is just, Kubo has a lot of fun with alliteration. Kubo has a lot of fun with titles of chapters. He really likes it. I feel like that is the one big difference between him and Gege. I've talked about Gege Akutami, and now him and Kubo are similar. Gege borrows a lot from Bleach in the construction of Jujutsu Kaisen. I think that Gege definitely makes the series his own. There are a lot of differences. In terms of character design and structure. But one thing that Gege did not pick up from Kubo is his chapter naming abilities. Gege will be like, the arc part 17. Like, that'll just be Gege, and that's all I'll say about that. But Kubo definitely took time to construct Bleach title chapters, and he made them fun. So, like, this one is called Hear, like hearing, Fear, as in, as not is the F, the fear, and H for hear, like hear, fear, hear. I'm just, as an English major, I always was very happy with Kubo's titling. I was like, oh, this is fun. This is a show of a good time, right? But man, so Asnot's voice was not what I was expecting. And I'm kind of down with it. I was expecting Asnot's voice, because the way that the word bubbles are, it's kind of like the wording is a little odd. It's a little off in the font. I don't know what I was expecting. If I was expecting something, I guess I was expecting the way, if you look at it, I'm going to try to get where you all can see. You can't see it very well. But in the manga, it looks kind of like cryptic. I was expecting a little bit more Crypt Keeper, like raspy, and instead it's more like deep and kind of haunting. I really like the voice, though. The voice of Asnot's voice actor is really good. I don't know if we can look that up on here real quick. That's really the only voice actor I really wanted to look up. Asnot's VA is, who plays his voice actor? Yoshitsugu Matsuoka. What has he played? Oh, he's played characters. What? He's Vash? I'm sorry, that was really loud and your ears are probably hurting. He's Vash from Vash the Stampede? From Trigun? What? Asnot is Vash's voice actor? And Inosuke from Demon Slayer. I am kind of baffled. And he's Mekamaru from Jujutsu. Mekamaru is as well? What? Holy cow. And he's... The range of this voice actor. He plays Vash. He plays Mekamaru. He plays Inosuke from Demon Slayer. He plays Hirano from Sasuke and Miyano. What? The range of this man. And he's Raichi from Blue Lock. And he's Teru from Mob Psycho. What? I did not realize that this man was voicing all of this range of characters. That is crazy. That is wild. My dude. Oh my god. And he's Reki's friend in Skate the Infinity, just so you know. Wow. And he's Mio in Strangers by the Sea, Stranger by the Shore, Seaside Strangers. I am in awe of everything this voice actor has done. There's a lot of roles I don't know that are on here, but holy cow. What are some of the older roles that he's done? I want to look this up. I'm going to go back, trying to scroll back through here because he's been in a freaking lot of series, some of which I don't know. Oh my god. Okay, so Vash and Vash the Stampede. He's not the OG Trigun Vash voice actor, not the OG one. I didn't realize they had changed. I think that I had been told that in the series, but yeah. Anyway, that's crazy. Okay. Wow. I know, Huckleberry. It's shocking. Okay, cool. Anyway, Asnod's voice actor is really, really good. His voice is really good. Was not expecting it. Talks about the fear. I honestly, these chapters are some of my favorite from the beginning. First, for so many reasons. Can we just break this down? Can we break this down? Because growing up reading Bleach, the relationship and dynamic between Byakuya and Rukia and Renji and Ichigo gets included. He's like the friend of the family that comes on in. They have been some of my favorite of the whole series. I mean, the whole tension between Byakuya and Ichigo from the start in the first major arc of the series, and Ichigo like waking Byakuya up that he needs to defend his sister-in-law is so good. And then Rukia kind of coming into her own and developing a bigger relationship with her brother-in-law. And then just the idea of her and Renji. And Renji and Byakuya's relationship has always been really fascinating to me because I'm a Ruki Renji shipper. So I'm always like, well, Renji's the brother-in-law. He's going to be marrying into the family. And so, you have Byakuya trying to kind of bring Renji, who's from the streets. It's so good. Like, you have Byakuya, who's posh, like the big posh family, the elitist, like son of the elite family of Shinigami. And then you have Renji, who's from the streets, like Rukia, and Renji kind of is brought up to become this captain after Byakuya. You just see the writing on the wall, right? And Byakuya is always one of those characters up until this point that you never really worried about. You didn't worry about him being in danger. Even when Aizen, took out Byakuya, Aizen was taking out everybody. So at that point, you're, not surprised. You're like, oh, everyone has failed against Aizen. No surprises there. But any other time, you could always rely on Byakuya. You're like, he's going to be the one that's going to be reliable. He saved Ruka back during the Hueco Mundo arc from the one guy in the big little, pin cushion, saved her from him. You knew Byakuya was going to be, he didn't even really fight Aizen because he was out getting Rukia back. So you didn't have to worry about him as a character. In this set of chapters, you worried about him as a character. And for the first time, he wasn't, infallible. Like Byakuya, you expected him to lose against Ichigo because that's essential to the plot. And even then he didn't lose against Ichigo, he just kind of let him go. But I was waiting for them to animate the scene where, because Byakuya was like, fear? I'm not afraid. I don't have any fears at all. Of course people have fear in battle. It's totally natural. I'm totally fine. You can't affect me. I'm not afraid of Asnod. I'm not afraid of anything. And then the way they animated that so fast, the shot of Rukia, the one thing he's afraid of is losing Rukia. Not only because he cares about Rukia as family, but because of her tie to Hisana. And it's that. Also, I don't know if you've ever seen Barefoot Gin. Barefoot Gin is, it's kind of propaganda-ish, but I used it for a senior capstone when I was in college. My capstone project was about looking at World War II from a Japanese perspective because I'm from the US, so I have a very different perspective of World War II. And so I looked at Grave of the Fireflies. I looked at Barefoot Gin. There was a couple others, short manga that I looked at for my capstone project just to compare, because the U.S. used a lot of visual propaganda during World War II, and so did other countries. That's just part of media. But Barefoot Gin, I feel like Grave of the Fireflies is the more nuanced form of discussing the effects and ramifications of war. Barefoot Gin has, I say propaganda, not to say that it's wrong. They're very correct in a lot of what happened, and the author survived Hiroshima, so they had firsthand experience. But there is a lot that is, propaganda is not the right word. Sensationalization is the better word. There's a lot of sensationalized material in there. Rightfully so, because it's nuclear war. Of course there should be. You should talk about how bad it is. But the image here of her and the eyeball coming out of her eye and everything, that is straight up from Barefoot Gin. That imagery right there of the hair slowly coming off the skull and decomposing. There is a shot in Barefoot Gin that is that. and it has haunted me since I watched it like 20 years ago. And so when I saw that in the manga, I was like, ooh, Kubo watched that. Kubo saw Barefoot Gen, I have no doubt. And so that's just that image was adapted very well. I would argue that compared to the manga, because Kubo notoriously hates drawing backgrounds. Don't blame him. I hate it too. But I would argue the adaptation of this and seeing Byakuya struggle against his own Bankai and struggle against Asnot is, oh, it was well animated. Kubo also does this thing every time where he like shows somebody about to die and then it cuts to like someone they care about and they're like, huh? Was that you, Byakuya? I'm like, Kubo, stop it. But that was a really good shot. They adapted that really well in the anime. Also, I don't know if you were around during 2013 when this chapter came out. I was like fresh out of college. Seeing just a bare shoulder of Byakuya, seeing just the bare outside of his shoulder, it was like we were all in the Victorian era witnessing a woman lift up her dress and show her ankle for the first time. We were all like, hello. Like the thirsting for Byakuya, I cannot tell you how obscene it was. There is a lot of thirsting in Bleach. Quite a lot. And Byakuya is no exception. He falls prey to that. But yeah, we have the fly, the fear. They don't say that Asnot is the fear in this episode, but he is F for the fear. So yeah. And then of course, now, we did not see in the manga the person that Rukia was facing, but we do see them, we see a little glimpse of them in this. Yeah, that shot is just so good. Damn, that's so good. The pink really, I love that this anime really lends into the color and the saturation. The pink is really good. So yeah, when she turns around, we see her. I don't remember her. I don't remember the Quincy that has the pink bubbly hair. There's a lot of like rounded shapes in some of the Quincy design, which makes it kind of hard for me to remember from person to person, but we don't see them in here, but they do attack Rukia just like they do. And then, yeah, the wrestler, he takes part of Renji Shikai, and he takes part of his Zanpakuto and throws it away, which is very sad. Poor Byakuya. Like, in the manga, he just, like, it makes you feel so sad, because Byakuya's been kind of, like, he was an antagonistic character, and then he became, like, an anti-hero, and then he became, like, you just rooted for him, and now seeing him, like, at his worst, it just sucks. Yep. And then poor Byakuya. I felt so bad. And they did not skimp on the blood. They did not skimp on any of the darkness of these chapters. That's for sure. So yeah, just they've made it worse. Like here he's just like a little smack against the wall, but they like upped the detail on it this time. Okay. Looking back on it now, so Byakuya, Ruki, and Renji, everybody's in a bad boat. Ichigo, it'd be really nice if you got through and got out of your wiffle ball. Anytime soon! But no, it makes sense now, in hindsight, that Hashwalt, whatever his name is, I'm going to call him Hansel, because he looks like Hansel from Zoolander. Hansel here, it makes sense why he came with Yuvok in this chapter set, because that's not really Yuvok. It's Royd pretending to be him. Because that threw me off. I joked about it in the reaction. I was like, there's Hashvalt doing absolutely nothing during this fight. But he wasn't supposed to. He wasn't supposed to. He was just supposed to stand there and make sure everything went down and that Royd wasn't discovered. And then after Yuvok tried to recruit Aizen, the most failed attempt to do anything in the history of everything, then he could do whatever. Because I remember I was reading the manga like week to week at this point. By the time we got to this arc, like week to week, I was online in the forums. I was on the onemanga.com. I was on there in the forums every week in the trenches. And I remember that a lot of people around the time this arc was coming out, they were like, why is Hashvalt even there? Why is he standing there not doing anything? What's going on? And some people were blaming Kubo, being like, he just has this character here not doing a damn thing. When in reality, he was there to make sure that Royd wasn't discovered, or if he was, there was like a way to get out of the situation until Yubak got back. Man, Kubo also just said, I know I created a bunch of characters. I'm going to kill a bunch of them off, like immediately. So, which is still pretty badass that Kenpachi shows up just with 3 Quincy's strung over his shoulder, like just wild. And so that part is pretty much adapted. We had Sternritter R was Jerome Guisbot, the Roar. R is the Roar. And he basically could make himself bigger. And I like that, again, Gege takes a little bit of inspiration from Kenpachi for one of his characters. He's just like, he was really loud and got really big. And I didn't like it, so I cut him down. Then we have Sternritter Bernici Gabrielli, the Question. He's like, this guy just had funky hair and talked a lot, and I didn't like him, so I ripped out his throat. Kenpachi! And then we had Sternritter Y, the Yourself, Lloyd, which I'm like, Lloyd. You know what? I would say that that's bad naming, and that's like really lazy writing, but I met a guy at the National Speech Tournament we went to a few months ago. His name was Archer. I kid you not. His parents named him Archer. And I mean, badass name, cool for him, but I was like, man, you had to grow up, like, being like, what's your name? Archer. What's your last name? Archer. Really? Yeah. So, I mean, happens. But yeah, also badass name, though. And he's like, the third guy, Lloyd, wasn't bad because he looked like me. That's so funny. Like, Kenpachi being unintentionally hilarious is amazing. And then I love that Haschwalt's just like, well, heard you were a monster. Glad to know the rumors are true. And then, okay, now, in the manga English translation, Kenpachi says, I have no business with you, you pale little bastard. In here, what does he say? What's the translation here? He goes, I have no big business with a scrawny, pale guy like you. I like the Haschwalt's like, I'm glad that my beauty is a sign of weakness to you. Thank you. All right. So anyway, he goes to take on Yuvok, and now Haschwalt yelling Your Majesty makes kind of more sense because it's Royd playing him, so Haschwalt wants to make sure that he's on top of everything. Meanwhile, Ichigo's really pissed. He's like, I'm going to protect you. I'm not going to let you die. And again, this kind of goes back to, we're framing this. We're setting this up, y'all. We're setting this up for my favorite arc of maybe all of the series. But it's the idea that Ichigo, from the beginning, from the very first episode, when he lost his mom, he's been wanting to protect people because he couldn't protect her that day. It's all set up. It's all getting set up. So anyway, our poor boy, it's Hiragi, isn't it? I called him Hiragi last week, and I felt like after getting Muguruma's name wrong, after getting Kinsei's name wrong, I was like, am I going to get this right? I want to make sure I do. It is, oh my God, Bleach. I need to find Bleach on here. Make sure I get the right one. Yes, Hisagi, not Hiragi, Hisagi, Shuhei. I knew Shuhei was right. It is Hisagi. Thank you. Okay. I have liked Hisagi as a character. I feel like having the 69 on the side of his face. Kubo gave a reason for that at one point, which was fine, but it feels like such a rebellious thing. But anyway, having the general captain show up, and you know what? I will admit to you all, that back in the day when Romania was just a wee woman reading anime and manga, she was not as much of a yaoi shipper as she is now. She wasn't tainted by the BL like she has been now. Oh, y'all. Also, can we talk real quick about the division here? This is an added scene. This is not in the manga. But these little guys here that are in the 12th division with Akon and them, they've been in the manga before. They're adorable. I wish we got a close-up on them. I love them. They're like, there's a bunch of kids in Division 12. I don't know how to feel about that. Nemu I consider like even young still. I don't know how to feel about that because it's my Yuri's division, but noteworthy. But anyway, glad Akon is alive. And yeah, then Yamamoto shows up. And man alive, I did not expect a lot of things. When this got to the manga, look, Yamamoto was always one of my least favorite captains up until this arc. Because one, he was so stern in the Rukia Rescue arc and he didn't do anything to really help out the situation with Aizen. Like, really didn't. And I was like, aren't you supposed to be in charge of everything? And then he was just kind of like stoic and stern about everything. And that, don't even get me started on Central 46. Central 46 are just like the no-name higher ups that are never mentioned. We never see their faces. They're like, it's like Evangelion. They just hide behind a mask. We're gonna talk about Evangelion here in a little bit too. But anyway, I was not the biggest Yamamoto fan. I was not until this part of the arc. And really what made me a fan of Yamamoto was Yamamoto up until this point had not felt like a human character. He was always this, I'm bigger than life. I'm the one in charge. I'm super serious. But you never really got that human connection with him or saw any vulnerability with Yamamoto. He was just so stone-faced. The moment in the chapter that this guy makes the biggest mistake of his life, which was saying he was going to use Sasakibe's Bankai to end Yamamoto's life. The moment he decided to do that and then revealed it, and we saw this look in Yamamoto's eyes, and then his eyes closed, I was like, oh, bitch. Oh, no, 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 no. I cannot have been the only person. Now, look, I'm going to preface this because y'all know how much of a shipper I am. If you believe that Sasakibe was just a humble could-be student, friend of Yamamoto that he grew up with, that, you know, he just admired, that caused him the scar, and they were just platonic besties, and he didn't just change his entire name to help Sasakibe out and murder an entire Quincy path for the sake of his friend. Yeah, you know, just if you don't ship them, that's fine. If you don't see the vision, that's fine. The vision's not for everyone, but I've read BL that go along this line. I would read a BL about these two in a heartbeat. I'm sure there's a doujinshi somewhere. There better be a damn fan fiction. There better be damn fan fiction about these two. You've got to tell me that there has to be. Come on now. But to go up there with Genji Juku, Shigekune Yamamoto, and for Chojuro to call him Ijisai, and how cute he is. Like, Sasakibe's always had the little mustache and looked like very stoic. It's weird seeing Yamamoto with black hair. It's weird seeing Yamamoto muscular and like looking at the top of his game. The Japanese traditional look is like as stapled as you can get. But then you have Chojuro and like wants to become like his right-hand man. Y'all, they don't make it any more coded. It just, they don't. Mm-mm. And the thing that gets me is that, like he says here, he's like, I don't want to be your student. He's like, I don't want to be your student. I don't want to imitate you. I don't want to be someone under you. He's like, I want to be your right-hand man by your side with my own style. And I'm like, how much more of a badass can Sasakibe get and be? Again, Kubo excels when he does flashbacks. Kubo excels when he does flashbacks of characters because he is able to expand upon that character. Did I care about Sasakibe before this season? Not really. He was always cool and everybody in the forums kind of always were wondering like, what's his Bankai? What's his backstory? Like whatever. And but he wasn't one of those like, oh, I just need to know the mystery. You just kind of were like, okay, he's just the second in command of the most powerful guy there. But then Kubo does his damn flashback, gives him a whole redemption story when he didn't even need one, and just gave us everything that connected him and Yamamoto together, which explains the fuel behind Yamamoto wanting to just like absolutely wreck Yuvok and all the Quincy. Basically, like, just take me down with this Bankai of yours. And I love in the manga where it shows him using it and then Yamamoto being surprised when it causes the other scar on his head. And then look how happy Chojuro is. Look how happy he is. He's like, I know my Bankai is still developing, but I'm going to develop it and then I'm going to, be by your side to use it. My God. Y'all, the fan fiction writes itself. It's so damn good. And him combining and taking it all together to go at him. I love it. Just, it's the black hair and the white hair motif too. Y'all, it's so classic. It's so damn good. So yeah, and then him being like, why would you attack me with something this weak? The manga was so badass, but the anime itself, for Chojiro's sake, I changed my name to Jin Ryusai. And he's like, my friend, I can just feel how much shame you have, your frustration, your anger very well. Because the Bankai you honed is absolutely not this weak. Ah! So freaking good! Yes. Yep. Now, my memory is a little fuzzy. I'm trying to remember when Yamamoto lost his arm. I think it was from Aizen, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yep, I'm finally able to avenge you, Chojiro. Damn, the way that he just burned up was crazy. That was so good. And then Hiragi, I love that Hisagi's just like, welp, I'm glad I don't have to fight him. Also, I'm sorry. Oh, there's Momo too. Look at her. We get to see a little glimpse of her. Glad to see Momo. Glad she's doing well. Do we get to see her in this? Yeah, we get to see her a little bit. Her hair looks a little bit longer in the anime. Her face looks a little bit different, but yeah. Good job. So yeah, our old man's going to get to have all the fun. The one guy looks like, I don't know if he's supposed to look like Jet Li, Bruce Lee. I don't know if that is his thing he's supposed to look like exactly, if that's his reference that he's supposed to have. Not exactly sure. Y'all will probably comment that down below. But yeah, so then the next episode is about the fire. Now, there is a little preface here where Shunsui has the conversation with Light Yagami's dad, who I will only refer to him as that, saying it feels like he's admonishing me. As if saying I don't remember raising a coward who'd struggle against an enemy of this level. Now, this right here that's being said is the first time I think we've ever gotten like the idea that Shunsui was raised by Yamamoto or trained by Yamamoto. I would have to go back through all the manga to see if that were the case, but I don't recall that being it. With that being said, that is going to be brought up later. I'm going to save what I want to bring up for next week to see if they actually show it to us or not. I'm not sure if they will, but yeah. So Yamamoto shows up and manages to save Kenpachi from being taken out by Yuvok. And at the same time, Light Yagami's dad says that it's not just you all being inspired by Yamamoto joining the fray, but also us being inspired by Yuvok battling as well. That our spirits are lifted as well. Now, I will say this. I don't recall Bazby and Asnot going out this early in this. I don't remember Nincompoop. I don't remember him. I don't remember his arc. But Asnot and Bazby, like, jumping down at Yamamoto, he, like, burns them up. But I distinctly remember them coming back to life. Maybe they come back to life. There's one Quincy that has zombie powers. It's going to be a whole thing. I don't remember them being the ones that jumped in the fray, but they sure were. They got burned up, but it doesn't, well, I mean, they got burned up to a crisp, but they didn't die. So, or at least no body, no death. We didn't actually see them die, so we can assume that the Quincy's end up healing them. We'll see. I will say, this shot of Hitsugaya is unironically, it's so funny because he's just, you know, you get Komamura and Soifone, they look pretty confident, and there's this big, like, nuclear sun-like explosion, and then Hitsugaya being like, it's so funny. It's funny to me. It cracks me up. But yeah. Also, it makes sense that this sword that Yubok starts out with to fight Yamamoto is not as impressive as the Sword of Light that he brings out at the end. That sword seems like a final boss sword. This one here should have been a sign that it wasn't actually him, but how are we to know? I will say, the fight choreography between the two of them that's animated in this episode, amazing. Such good animation. I freaking loved it. This whole fight scene was really, really good. And I loved that from the moment, like, as his Bankai keeps going on, as the Bankai keeps going on, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter outside, and things get drier and drier and drier, like the whole Soul Society is going to catch on fire. Oh, so freaking good. And I love how bright it is. Also, speaking of foreshadowing, when she's like, oh, Nohana, my skin's getting real dry. And whenever she goes, oh, my Isane, how cute of you to worry about your skin. Okay, if you know what you know about Unohana, which I'm saving all of those thoughts for a week or two from now. I'm saving all of those thoughts for then. Maybe next week. Maybe it's next week. I'm going to save my thoughts for next week. But if you know what you know about Unohana, then all of the little side comments she's had, because ever since the very beginning when she was introduced, it has been established that everyone reveres Unohana. Everyone trusts her. Everyone is terrified of her. And at first you're like, well, she's a healer. She's like the main healer of the group. Why would you be terrified of her? We're going to save that conversation for next week. But there's always been like little jokes where she's used really dark humor and it's just been like very deadpan and you're like, it's kind of off-putting. So she's like, how cute of you to worry about your skin when we're all about to die through bursting into flames. Like, you know, that mentality. And she's like, what? But yeah, this is just epic. This is just epic. You would expect the highest caliber of Soul Reaper to have one of the craziest, most bonkers Bankai, and Yamamoto does. I do love that there's the east, the west, the north, the south. I love that the east, it's all contained in this blade. The magma is all contained in the blade, which if you think about it, it's like, I associate it with, and I could be wrong, but I associate with like the symbolism, you know, Japan is in the east and it is very kind of conservative, very quiet, very reserved, but there's like a power beneath that, right? And that's kind of the symbolism of the blade being the power. And when it strikes, it causes all the explosion, all the ripple effect that happens and destroys everything in its path. Then you have from there, I also think that this is added where the stuff with the one, I think Hitsugaya's part about the water disappearing, I think that was anime only, which is cool. Love that. But then he's like, yeah, don't underestimate. So the east is just the blade, which is tied to Ichigo and how his Bankai is just the blade. So that's a cool little continuity. It makes me wonder, looking back now, if when Yamamoto saw Ichigo's Bankai, if he was like, that's kind of similar to mine. Isn't that something? Also, the shape of Yuvok's blade in this one kind of looks similar to the shape of Ichigo's sword when it's in its first form. We're going to talk about that later. It all adds up. Kubo, everything's according to plan. So he's like, well, the flames are the Bankai's power, so where are those? And so you have the East version that is all this power controlled into the blade, and when it touches something, it blows it away. But then he has the West version. And again, if you talk about, like, I'm from the US, I'm from the Western Hemisphere, it's a little bit excessive over here. You have just the idea of, instead of it being contained like the East and focused and concentrated into this one blast that destroys anything, the West version just makes everything magma and just is like excessive flames and lava and destroying everything. And it's just, oh my God. Yep, the sunset hell robe. Love it. As if being enveloped by the sun. And it's not an illusion. It's literally his spiritual pressure. So from there, Yuvok tries to incorporate this sanctuary praise, this Quincy technique that is going to protect him. Meanwhile, while that's going on, I also like the cut to, if I don't end this soon, you and I, as well as the Soul Society, will burn to ashes. I'm gonna have something to say about that next week, at the very beginning of next week, if the anime doesn't show us, but I'm gonna wait to see if the anime shows us it or not. Anyway, I also like the cut to this daisy that's with where Uryu is. There's like a little daisy, and it's like a cut to the daisy inside the glass, right? So I do appreciate that they include Uryu reading through this diary, this book of information to give himself info on the Quincy. I'm glad that he's basically connecting to, 1,000 years ago, for some reason, well, they give us the reason, 1,000 years ago, the Quincy Empire, known as the Lich Reich, intended to annihilate all hollows, and they invaded the Soul Society, who had opposed them. Now, is Uryu privy to the idea that if they destroyed all hollows, it would cause an entire deconstruction of the two dimensions and possibly destroy the world? Did he know that from reading this? Doesn't seem like they kind of skirt along that information. They were wiped out by the 13 court guards. Yep. And then 200 years ago, yep, the Soul Reapers unilaterally decided to exterminate the surviving Quincy. And if you look up there, the one looks like Renji. The one Soul Reaper looks like Renji there. One of them looks like, Asane. One looks kind of like Rangiku. A couple of them look like, the one looks like the guy that's the second chair to Soifone. So, yeah. But basically, I forget why 200 years ago they decided to get rid of all the other Quincy. Because they were starting to come back up again, I guess. Maybe. I mean, clearly it didn't work because Uryu's grandpa and some of the Quincy remained. So they didn't exterminate all of them, just a group, because they would believing it would disrupt the circulation of souls. And so Uryu's big conflict is that he has always been suspicious that the Soul Reapers and Quincy could never get along. And his grandfather was a huge, inspiration to Uryu, and his grandfather being killed by the Shinigami kind of has influenced a lot of his decisions with that. But also Ryukin has been like, you just need to avoid them. You don't need to talk to any of them. Which I'm like, Ryukin, if you would share your story, might be a little bit of a different impression, but we'll see how that goes. But of course, right when Uryu is like, there's no way we can get along, then he meets Ichigo, and Ichigo is the exception to the rule. Ichigo's like, oh yeah, the Soul Society abandoned me, but I am a Shinigami, and, we can get along, and we can respect each other, and we can sing Kumbaya. Uryu, come on, sing with me. I know that Uryu is going to infiltrate the Quincy and try to figure things out, but in order to infiltrate the Quincy, he has to become one of them, and that's going to make Ichigo very upset. So I do appreciate them giving us this little bit of extra scenes to kind of show us that, because I feel like one of my complaints in the manga when it came out, and we'll see if that holds true here when we look back through the manga, because again, it's been like 10 years. One of my biggest complaints was that Uryu just kind of joins the Quincy and all this stuff happens off screen, and we're like, but when did you find all this out? Now we're seeing him find all of this out. And it doesn't really take away from the pacing. It's just giving us little reminders of all this being set up. But anyway, then we go through and Yamamoto unleashes his power from the south, I believe. Isn't it the south? Yes. Yep, from Minami, the south. And that's where he brings back all of these Quincy. This is such a page. This double spread, when this came out, people were losing their shit. I cannot tell you how many people were losing their minds over Yamamoto's Bankai and the idea of the Kakajima no Ku Shidai Sojin, the Trillion Great Flame Corpse Formation. Insane! Wild! Loved it though. I also loved that the clack, like that sound effect is all you hear. The way they did the sound design for this moment, the way that, okay, also him having the arrows. When your sword is broken, you still have your arrows. I want to go back to that, but the idea that when the corpses show up, there's no sound except the sound of the bones cracking. So good. So good. So this part was interesting. We got a little bit of a flashback. Damn, they animated Yamamoto so freaking good. The blues and the reds. So damn good. Your sword is broken. And then all this pile, like as he's standing atop all the bodies of the Quincy's. Wild. Yep. All you have left are your arrows. So who was the other person? Because there's Yamamoto that's against all these Quincy bodies. There's Yamamoto there. Who was above him before? Like, who was on the other side of him? Because there's all those bodies. Who else was up there? There's somebody up there. Oh, it's Sasakibe. So Sasakibe and him. Okay. The boyfriends attacked him together? Oh my god. Yeah, that is crazy. That is so wild. I don't quite remember like what led to the point where I mean, unless it was just they were trying to destroy all the Quincy's, but I feel like they're not telling us something about Yuvok that in his past, like we're not getting to know some of that. So I'm sure they'll tell us. This part was animated really good. Just the bones clacking. And the fact that they were all just the Quincy's. Again, in hindsight, it makes sense that Royd would have the reaction that he does because this felt a little out of character for Yubak. Well, yeah, because it wasn't him. It was Royd. And the thing is, they'll tell us here in a little bit that I'm going to show you all, Royd has the memories of Yuvok. So it's not that Roy is remembering his own comrades, but he's remembering the comrades that Yuvok did and feeling sorry for them dying. And that's kind of where we go to with that. Yeah, Seidlitz and Argala and Hubert. It's not that you didn't steal my Bankai, you couldn't. So yeah, we find out that unless they see all the Bankai, then they can't steal it. So what a wild time for Yamamoto to reveal his entire Bankai, only for it to get stolen afterwards. Don't like that. Can they use Bankai once the person dies? I do like the idea that they kind of call him a hypocrite by saying like, you know, do you deserve to be a soul reaper by taking the bodies of other people and using them against others? And that line, your mouth works well, but your eyes don't work at all. I'm like, damn, that is oof. So yeah, he's like, I can see your tears, Yuvok. It must have been painful to destroy the corpses of your men just to reach me. But that does not compare to the hatred and suffering of the soul reapers you killed. And then he uses the Blade of Ember North to just strike through him and cut him in half. And again, there is this argument that both sides have been fighting for a cause they believe is just. And in both scenarios, you're going to lose people and, you know, you want neither side to die in vain, right? Don't talk as if you know me. So, interesting. They add a little bit with Yuvok about, like, Yamamoto not understanding his cause. I'm curious if they're going to expand upon that in the actual anime. Because, yeah, I think that's... Yeah, he does do that. Yeah. He talks about, don't think you can stop me with such a trick. And then what does he say after that? Yep, don't think you know nothing. Okay. Yeah, which the fact that he had human feelings was really Royd, but not him. But anyway... So yeah, and then he fires through the north and slices through them. They're a bit more graphic than they were in the manga. That's for sure. And also, you know what they added to this? You know what they added to this? As he fires that shot, this is all you get. This is all you get in the manga. I'm just saying, this is all you get in the manga, okay? Okay? So where he says, you know, I can see your tears, and now here's the you know, the people that you killed, and then we see him cut in half, right? When he fires it here, I just want to point out, when he fires it here and disintegrates all the blades, what do we get shown as it gets blown back? What do we get shown? Oh, we just get shown images of who? Freaking Sasakibe. Freaking Sasakibe, as he gets blown back, Yamamoto is sitting there staring and thinking to himself as the blade ends, yeah, he saw Sasakibe in there. I'm like, the shipping is real, y'all. The shipping is real. Yeah, it's this moment right here of the soul reapers you've killed. Yeah, I mean, he does show shots of the others, but the main focus is on Chojuro. Yeah, and seeing him dying, Yamamoto, like, this was his ride or die. Chojuro was his ride or die, and he's like, bitch. I have never shipped so hard as I am in this moment. That's a lie. I've shipped harder, but I am shipping pretty hard for them. So the manga really ends with him saying, like, you know, please forgive me. And he's like, Yord Yuvok. He's like, that's... Okay, no, that's Royd saying, please forgive me, Lord Yuvok. And that was where the volume ends, because Kubo loves to end on a cliffhanger. And it's like, what? So then we start out volume 58. And I only want to talk about the first chapter, which is also, we're going to get to it in a second. The first chapter is just called The Extinction. And the one thing they did cut was there's this opening page that's kind of creepy because the silhouettes of the nurse and doctor show their eyes and lips, but everything else is black. It's kind of creepy. But it says here, the first people to mistake the twins, Lloyd and Royd, were the doctor and nurse who delivered them. They could not figure out who was older and who was younger soon after birth, so they misinformed their parents. But their parents couldn't figure out who was older and who was younger either. So who was the older brother and who was the younger brother became an irrelevant issue to the twins. So nobody knows who was older or younger, Royd or Lloyd. Nobody could figure it out. They were identical because they subconsciously mimicked each other before birth. They realized that when they reached the age of 5. That is such a cool twist on the powers of the twins, that they realized that they look identical because they mimicked each other in the womb. That's so fun. That's so crazy because their powers are mimicking others. And they're like, we mimicked each other. And when they turned 12, they both realized they could mimic humans other than themselves. The older brother, with an L, Lloyd, could mimic another's powers and skills in addition to their appearance. So he's the one that pretends to be Kenpachi. The younger brother, with an R, Royd, could mimic another's memories and minds in addition to their appearance. So Lloyd could mimic powers and Royd could imitate memories. Which I feel like Royd was tasked with going to fight Yamamoto because he could remember what Yamamoto was like. So he could remember how to avoid certain attacks, right? Whereas Lloyd would not have been able to remember that. So even if he had Yuvok's powers, if he can't know what was coming at him, it wouldn't have been much good. He's like, I'm sorry. And man, the way they adapted this moment where Yamamoto realizes that it's not Yuvok, that was so good. The tension. He's like, I wasn't strong enough, so forgive me. And he's like, who are you apologizing to? That was so good. Who are you? And then who shows up? But Okikiba, he probably did. He's probably dead. And then Yuvok shows back up. And him just standing behind Yamamoto and then like shadowing over him. Oh, it's so good. In the manga, he's standing behind, like with his back turned to Yamamoto, right? And it's kind of that way here. But it doesn't look like that when he like touches down. He looks a lot closer he looks further away in the manga. Here he looks right beside him. So freaking good. But yeah, the yourself, Royd, R of Lloyd Royd. I really do like that Lloyd and Royd, it's like the two controllers left and right, L and R. I feel like that's intentional. I feel like Kubo did that for a reason. But damn. And so then of course, he's like, well done. And Royd is like, oh, you praised me, sir, right before he gets disintegrated. Boop, boop. That's how it goes in the world of Quincy's. He's like, what have you been up to? And he's like, oh, I just had tea and went and had an afternoon tea with Sosuke Aizen. Mother trucker. So yeah, what have you been doing? And Yamamoto's like, what? Now, huge differences already. I'm not mad at these choices, but I just was like, okay, I have joked for a long time that Aizen, who is in the Central Underground Great Prison, put this bitch in the ground. Like, in the manga, he has a long-standing relationship with his chair. Aizen and chair have a very long-standing relationship. And so it was so funny because in the manga, we were all like, oh, they just strapped him down to this chair as hard as they can with as much electrical tape as they could. And just to keep him away. The anime handles it so much better because the anime's like, have you seen Neon Genesis? I can't believe they went this route. This is so bitchin' cool. He's like the chair has digivolved into a slab. He is like full on Jesus mode. Like just getting there. If only his arms were stretched out, he would have been like Adam in Neon Genesis. Like what? I freaking love it because this makes it look much more like like they just strapped him to this steel beam and threw some other like things through him to keep him there. Yep. And of course Aizen knows Yuvok as planned. just strapped to that. He's like, you're one of the special threats. So Ichigo's a special threat. Aizen's a special threat. And he's like, oh, the Quincy King is welcoming me into the Wandenreich. Aizen's like, really? You sure about that? So we do get confirmation that in here, well, but in here we don't get to see all of that. That's all we get to see? Oh, they added this. Okay. He's like, I told him to come under my command, but he turned it down. We have all the time in the world. Okay, so they did add some to this. Okay, awesome. So anime original content, they add him basically saying that, because I did wonder, like, why wouldn't you kill Aizen while he was strapped to that? And he basically affirms that because you're connected to the Hogyoku, it was going to take way too much time to get you dead. So we're not going to do that. That would take too much time and effort. No. Instead, I want you to join me and we could just go together forever. And Aizen's like, no. Which, honestly, good for Aizen. Good for Aizen being like, I'm not joining you. I love that they added this in there. Also, look at him. He's got like 6 different beams, like stabbing him into the wall. He's still strapped up. He's got the tape like connecting him where he can't move. The chair got upgraded. I feel so great about this. The chair got upgraded. Okay, cool. I can't wait to see more of Aizen. I want to see more of him. It would take too long to kill you. It's best to minimize the time. Eventually you'll be eliminated. And Aizen's like, gee, thanks. Bye-bye. So, he tries to use his Bankai again. That did not work. And he's like, Yamamoto, you bastard. And then the sword becomes like the epic sword. Yeah. I love that he has this big Quincy bow and it fires down and he grabs it and that becomes a sword. The way they animated this, oh, it is so damn good. So damn good. Oh, there is a part after this, but I'm going to wait till next week before we get into it. But the way that they animated the final shots of him, the rain, the blue tones, oh, it is so incredible. And then, like, the look in his eye, like, Yamamoto knows he's dead. He has no Bankai. He knows he's dead. Like, this is the end. This is it. And the way he's like, farewell. And he just stands there and takes it, because that's all he can do. Oh, that's going to be the thumbnail, for sure. I mean, I would also make this part the thumbnail, but at the same time, oh, damn, they animated well. That kind of reveals a lot. But it is. That part is essentially the manga shot, and then they show the very end there. Tribute to Yamamoto, for sure. Damn. And that's where it ends. So we got one chapter into volume 58, The Fire. We're going to be going back to that, though. I guess we're doing the episodes in reverse. I guess we're doing whatever the volume was. We're doing the volume before it or after it. We're mixing up the title cards, but that's okay. This is such a good episode adaptation, y'all. I cannot tell you how impressed I am with what they've been doing with this series. This has been so much fun. There's so much I want to talk about, but at the same time, I also know that I'm like, I can't talk about that yet because I'm going to want to gush about it later on, but I can't believe that they killed off, the idea that you killed off Yamamoto 6 episodes in, and everybody's like, doesn't this have 3 more parts? Oh, does it? So, I'm going to be real. I don't remember everything that happens directly after this. I know where we're going. I know some things that are about to happen, but I'm very curious about the structure, so that's going to be a fun surprise next week. But y'all, we need to talk about Yamamoto and Sasuke down below. We need to talk about Lloyd and Royd. We need to talk about Ichigo stuck in a wiffle ball. Anyway, what is that toy? There's a toy that Ichigo is stuck in. There's like a wiffle ball shaped toy. I know. What is it? There's a toy from when I was a kid that it had the same structure. Like a wiffle ball has holes in it. Doesn't quite look like that. But there is a toy that looks very similar to what Ichigo is stuck in, the jail cell. And I wish I could remember the name of it. But, here we go. What is it? It's, Yeah, a waffle ball. Not a wiffle ball, but a waffle ball. He's stuck in a waffle ball. There we go. There we go. Look up waffle ball and you'll find out. So, anyway, I'm super excited, y'all. I've talked for an hour about this episode set, but I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, oh my gosh, I'll be back next week and we can gush about episodes 7 and 8. The rule of 8 is next week, y'all. The rule of 8 is next week, and if what I think is going to happen is about to happen, it's going to be a fun week. So, anyway, I hope you all have a fun time, and I'll be back next week, and we will gush about Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, and I will see you then. Bye!